Gravity and T returned to the tree where Crunch greeted them with hugs. You two were gone half the day. Where were you? She replied. T looked at Gravity and Gravity replied, just out flying around to clear our heads. Okay then, enjoy your clear heads, Crunch said with a wink. We actually talked about something we should tell you and Lady, T said. Crunch looked worried and prepared herself for bad news. Me and T decided to continue our journey and leave the tree, Gravity explained. She sighed afterwards and felt as though a boulder was thrown off of her shoulders. But you two are my only friends, Crunch said. I know, I'm sorry, and you're welcome to come with us, but it will be very dangerous, Gravity said. Dangerous how? Crunch asked. We want to track down Lord Magikarp and everyone he's working with so that we can put an end to the Pokemon experiments, T explained. Crunch hugged Gravity and whispered to her, I'm gonna miss you, girl. I'll miss you too, and this isn't forever, I promise, Gravity stated. He said his goodbyes, and after telling Lady that they were going to leave the tree, they headed back to where it all began, hoping to find clues. Gravity and T flew over miles and miles of forest without saying a word to each other. Gravity was certain T was reading her mind, but she learned to be okay with him doing it at any moment. Hey T, Gravity asked. What? T replied, wondering what she was about to say. When we stop PMP, what are you going to do after? T continued to fly with Gravity in silence for a moment. He wasn't sure how to answer, but eventually he did. I will continue to fly with you on your next journey. What will I do? Gravity questioned herself. T floated closer to her. I think we both know the answer to that, he said. Gravity quickly darted a look at him, and suddenly lightning shot the sky between them. They both staggered in their flying as the second bolt of lightning struck the sky next to T. What's happening? There isn't a cloud in the sky, Gravity exclaimed. T looked around them and noticed a third lightning strike. He waved his hand and teleported Gravity next to him. Down there, a Pokemon is attacking us. We need to land, or they'll keep an advantage over us, T explained. A final strike shot towards them, and they avoided it while heading to the ground. T landed on the ground with Gravity not far behind. She landed on his shoulder, and they both looked at each other before looking around them. Do you think we are safe? Gravity asked. There's a Pokemon nearby, but they don't know where we are since we landed, T answered softly. What do we do? Gravity whispered even quieter. Their mind isn't normal. I think it's the work of the PMP, but I can't tell. We should just move ahead quietly and carefully. Gravity nodded, and they both flew a few feet off the ground to continue their journey to where everything began. What are they going to find, and what did they hope to find? I'm growing stronger, a deathly cold voice spoke in Gravity's mind. Gravity immediately looked at T, who didn't seem to hear it. Suddenly, Gravity sensed another attack shooting towards them, but it was impossible to dodge, and she was sent to the ground by an electric bolt. Gravity! T shouted. He stopped, and at that moment, the Pokemon that was attacking them revealed itself as a Jolteon with an odd mutation that made it appear as a fused Pokemon. We got one, he said. What of the others? It shouted in a different voice. Get it too! A third voice came from the same Pokemon. Gravity, can you hear me? Get up, T shouted. Gravity moaned but didn't move. T turned towards the Jolteon, who now was revealed to have the colors and attributes of all evolutions. Grass and leaves floated above her while drops of water began to rise into the air. Kill the Lucario, she spoke. No! Capture them both! Another voice spoke from the same Pokemon. Fire ripped the ground apart in front of T and forced him to fly in the air and use his powers to make Gravity float in the air with him. Kill! No capture! Listen, I don't understand what's going on with you, but I know the PMP is responsible. I want to help you because they have hurt me too, T explained. Help! No, enemy! The Jolteon grew a vine on her back and it launched at T, who barely managed to dodge it. Gravity was grabbed instead. He summoned an orb of energy and nearly threw it, but he was stopped by a cloud of smoke that emitted from the vines. The smoke made him pass out, and the Jolteon approached him. Kill? No, capture! Gravity and T awoke in a cage with glowing bars. They were both scared and confused. T? Gravity asked while she woke. T looked at her and hugged her tight. Are you hurt? He asked. No, where are we? Gravity asked. T let go of Gravity. I think the Jolteon brought us to a PMP facility. Gravity looked around past the bars to see a room that looked exactly like the one she found herself in after being caught for the first time. She immediately started to tear up and cry. She hid her face under T's arms. Why? Why did this have to happen? She yelled. T patted Gravity's back. It's going to be okay. As soon as someone shows up, I can enter their mind and know how to escape. Gravity looked up at T and stopped crying. A door suddenly opened at the other end of the room, and a man entered holding a tablet. The Jolteon entered with him and jumped on the table. Melody, I need you to be ready in case these two escape. Our Lord Magikarp will arrive tomorrow at sunset to address this victory. You understand? The man asked. Kill. No. Contain. Guard! Melody spoke in 3 different voices at once. Very good. Do all of that, and maybe our Lord will reward us by making you whole. The man tapped on his tablet, and Melody suddenly howled before she laid down. The man left afterwards. T, did you hear? That Magikarp will be back tomorrow, Gravity spoke softly. She was afraid, but not as afraid as T, who had entered Melody's mind. T, can you hear me? Gravity asked. He was sitting and staring blankly at Melody. T closed his eyes and shook his head. I was trying to read her mind, but it's so broken, T explained. Can you fix it? Gravity asked. Maybe. Gravity suddenly looked hopeful. T, if you can make her mind whole, she might help us when Magikarp comes. I'll keep trying, but even if I'm successful, I'll be too weak to fight. I'll protect you, I promise. No matter what, I'll even stay here if that means you'll be safe. Thank you, Gravity, but promise me you'll get away no matter what, even if it costs my life. T turned away from Gravity and stared at Melody again. Gravity eventually fell asleep next to T, who never stopped staring at Melody. The next day, she was woken by T, who collapsed onto her. She quickly slipped away and saw that he had done something to Melody. T? He didn't move and looked asleep. Suddenly, the door swung open and Melanie walked in holding Lord Magikarp in her arms. Melanie! Gravity shouted at her. She was furious at her, but Melanie didn't care. Yes, we've done it. The stone is ours, Lord Magikarp exclaimed. You're too late. I've used the stone, so it's gone. The stone can be remade from you. Of course, there's no way for you to survive the process. Gravity, when you hear me say run, just keep going until you're gone. Got it? He mumbled. Gravity turned towards him. I can't. Melanie, begin the transference process, Lord Magikarp demanded. The ribbons in Melanie's hair stretched towards Gravity, and suddenly Melanie was headbutted by Melody. Melanie and Lord Magikarp both fell, and Melody broke the cage. Go! Run! Now! T shouted. But what about you? Gravity hesitated. I'm not as important as you. You have to fly away and keep the stone's power away from Lord Magikarp. Gravity shook her head and cried as she flew out of the cage and towards an air duct. She was suddenly grabbed by Melanie's ribbons and slammed into the ground. Let them go, Melody shouted in a synchronized voice. She shot a lightning bolt at Melanie and Lord Magikarp, but the electricity surrounded them before launching back and throwing Melody across the room. In that moment, Gravity evolved into a swallow and broke free of the ribbons. I'm not going to run away. I'm going to save you, T, just like you saved me. So that was the last part of the fanfiction. Obviously, there was more to come. The story was almost complete when I finally finished it. The idea was going to be that this facility was basically going to be the last battle. I had a couple of different scenarios that I was going to play. I was thinking about, what I was going to do with this character, what I was going to do with that character. So anyway, if you wanted me to continue this this fan fiction, maybe like pick it up where I left off and then just kind of finish it, let me know in the comments. And that's really all I want to talk about for this now. I know that this video specifically is going to be split into 2 parts because it took me almost an hour to read all of that. So it took me like 40 minutes to read all of it. So I'll split it into multiple parts. And this is the last part. You just finished it. So yeah, that's going to do it for that. In the future, I will discuss more about Gravity the Tillo and the history behind it and stuff as I get more comfortable with everything that happened with Gravity the Tillo, because a lot of stuff happened with Gravity the Tillo. Some of it not really ready to talk about yet. Anyway, that's going to do it for the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, do those wonderful things. And until next time, stay wonderful.